Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this month's Charleston Tech Chat. This is a monthly series where we spotlight local tech talent and we talk about what's going on in Charleston, South Carolina, in the tech community and what it's like to live here. So we are in downtown Charleston, South Carolina today at BoomTown. And this is their new office, only a couple of months old, and it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, get down here, check it out, or go on their website and make sure you can see some images. And I'm here with Adam, web developer. Thank you so much for having us here today.
Absolutely.
Adam is my hero because we were going to interview Mark, who is the VP of Engineering here, and unfortunately last minute he was unable to do it. So about an hour prep, and he is ready to go to talk about all things Charleston Tech. So thank you again. So first, tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do here at BoomTown, and a little bit about BoomTown itself.
Sure. So I grew up in Delaware. After graduating, I moved to Seattle and spent about 6 years out there, kind of learning the ropes, and then moved out to Charleston. At BoomTown, I've been doing more front-end engineering.
And that is all. So, since you only had a couple of minutes to prep for this, tell me a little bit about why BoomTown is in Charleston, South Carolina.
So BoomTown was founded by Greer, and his family came from Charleston and provided a bit of a springboard for launching the company here. So if you're founding a company and you're from Charleston and you're at the startup level, I mean, why not stay?
Right, and BoomTown was really one of the early starters of the tech community here and has done a fantastic job of helping us continue the message and develop the tech community. And Greer is a fellow Clemson alumni, so I have to say go Tigers to him. All right, so let's move on. Tell me a little bit about something about BoomTowns Future that excites you, whether it's a project you're working on or the organization as a whole.
Yeah, I think as far as the work I'm doing, it's really interesting and exciting to me because the type of work I like to do is work that affects like as many people as possible, a big reach. And we're at a kind of turning point with a lot of our projects where the core is really solid. Now we can go through and kind of revamp it with a focus on performance and excellence inside of the product. And while we're working on that, we have a lot of management and additional planning work going out as to what new features and where we can expand and grow at the same time.
All right, so someone like me, I might not understand all of it, but tell people who are listening maybe a little bit about something very specific that you're working on that you're excited about with the development of web content.
Yeah, so one of the projects we just kicked off today was we're upgrading our version of Webpack. So I work on more of a front-end based team, and one of our core metrics is performance and perceived performance. So by upgrading Webpack, that allows us to do code splitting of our JavaScript bundles. Smaller bundles on page load means the page becomes interactive or renders faster for each user. And it's just a really cool cutting-edge technology right now.
I'm pretty excited because I pretty much picked up about 70% of what he said and I understood it. So congratulations on all that really great work you're doing here at BoomTown. So you told us a little bit about the fact that you're from out of the area, you're from Delaware, but tell us what brought you here to Charleston, South Carolina.
So we knew, my wife and I knew we wanted to move back to the East Coast, and we started looking at larger tech hubs, and Charleston had always been a place we wanted to visit. So we decided to try it out. We moved down here, stayed with a friend for a couple weeks, and after 2 weeks, it still kind of felt like we were on vacation despite me working remotely. So I said, hey, we should really live at a place where it just feels like it's vacation all of the time. So I ended up going to a job fair in the area and found a lot of great tech companies.
That's great. So you went to Dig South, right?
Yeah.
And that's where BoomTown found you. So
Yeah.
That's a great story. I feel like that makes it all circle because Dig South is a local tech fair that happens here every year in April, and it's an amazing event. It's getting bigger and bigger every year, and it's a big part of kind of how the Charleston tech community got started. So the fact that you were able to find Dig South, you were able to come to that job fair, and that's what brought you to BoomTown is just a great kind of full circle experience. Just going back to your experiences, was there a defining moment in your life that took you to the tech career?
Yeah, so right after I graduated college with a mechanical engineering degree, I ended up moving to Australia for a year. And while I was out there, I found a mom and pop company that were trying to launch a website to help them promote and sell a book for parenting, helping parents of children with ADHD. And basically they were having trouble getting this website launched. I was just learning about websites, so I found an opportunity to donate time and chose that as my way to donate. And after working on that project, I felt like, I was able to do something technical and kind of, for me, mathematical and engineering related, which is something I'm good at, but have it really be impactful for somebody else. And that experience just kind of stayed with me, and that's kind of the experience I look for whenever I'm doing work or working on tasks.
It's a great story. I love that story. Well, if anyone is in Australia watching right now and they're wondering about how they can come to Charleston, what kind of advice would you give them about getting their feet wet in the Charleston community?
Yeah, I'd say if you search online, there's a couple different websites that let you see the different tech companies and where they're located within Charleston. When I first moved down here, I just reached out to a couple of them directly to find out what type of tech they're using, how their company's growing. And then after that, I'd say move here because you get to spend a weekend or something like that, kind of exploring the place, get your foot in the door, and actually meet some of these companies and attend some job fairs and things like that.
And I'd be amiss not to say, because when Mark and I talked earlier this week, that he would say to visit BoomTown's website and check all the amazing job opportunities that they have here, because you guys are currently hiring a lot of engineers, I believe, right?
Yeah. And I feel like part of what makes it exciting, the expansion from like engineering side, is the type of tech that's being used behind the scenes. On the front end engineering team, we're using React, which has been a really fun migration. And on the back end, they're migrating towards the Scala API. So both of them are pretty exciting.
I'm sure all of you engineers out there understood everything he said. So, but speaking of that type of innovation, what would you say Charleston has to offer over other tech cities?
I think Charleston as a whole is kind of a hungrier climate right now. When I was living in Seattle, it's a little bit more cutthroat as far as the number of resources, the engineers that are out there, and the companies vying over their time. So in order for a junior developer to kind of work their way up the ranks, they end up leaving companies every year, every 2 years, because that's the safest way to get a salary raise or a promotion or something like that. In Charleston, it feels like there's a little bit more of an investment in the people. Whether that's because there's competition over resources, or there's just kind of a little bit more of a brotherhood and attempt to grow people within a company. But there's a big focus on that. So there's competitive salaries. There's also helping people grow into the right position for them, whether that's the type of technology they want to grow towards, or more management, more lead, things like that.
I think it's a great summary, and that's really what Charleston Open Source is about, is really kind of pushing the message together about what's happening in Charleston, South Carolina, through all the different companies and everything. And I love that we're talking here, and we got a couple people just coming in and enjoying the beverages that BoomTown has here. I'm enjoying a cold brew, so that's another great thing to know about BoomTown. Perfect lead-in. Tell me about the culture here at BoomTown.
Yeah, it's a very relaxed place. I think there's one of our new tenets that we're focusing on is just a focus on excellence, which I think has been really interesting. Excellence and product knowledge, which is something I guess I haven't experienced in other companies. So really getting to know a product can usually take a long amount of time. So seeing that come in from top down means there's a focus on it. You also see it from, to touch on non-technical things, you see from an investment in culture as well, where we're having Christmas in July right now as a party and a way to meet people outside of your smaller social circle who you work with day to day. There's family events, which are fun too.
I walked in and there was a Santa Claus at the front door, so that kind of tells you something. And I do love the way that y'all designed the layout of this. There's so many different pockets of places you can work. I mean, we have Chris and Tam here are working. They said they work here all the time in this space, and this gives you a lot of options to be able to kind of stretch your legs and your minds and be able to kind of work all throughout that. And I just love the vibe of the whole place. So kind of leaning more towards Charleston just as a whole, tell me what one thing that you're just loving about Charleston right now.
I think for me it's work-life balance. When I was living in Seattle, there's a big push to kind of like, oh, get away from work and break it off. But there's also a push to like, when you're at work, you're really going like very intensely. And I think the pacing of Charleston is a much more relaxed, kind of talkative, get to know people, really address the core problems if it's in a tech setting or something. But it doesn't feel stressful. And maybe that's because it's easier to relax on weekends and go to the beach or something. But
we are on beach time,
yeah.
364 days a week, a year, excuse me. But so tell me, it's the weekend. It's almost the weekend at least. What are you going to be doing this weekend?
I usually go down to Beach Walker like every other week, or I live in a park that's very family friendly. I live in a neighborhood that has a central park
I knew
that's
what you
very
were saying.
family friendly, and they have movies like once a month in the park,
that's fun.
and food trucks show up, so it's pretty cool.
Right. Speaking of the family-friendly neighborhoods, one thing you don't always see is parades, golf cart parades. I was really shocked by that when I moved down here, the amount of golf cart parades that happen, and that's just like a very joyful thing you get to have. So, all right, so let's do speed round. Are you ready for speed round?
Okay.
All right. Favorite restaurants?
I like Boxcar Betty right now. I think I would know quite a bit.
So good. My boss Claire would love that answer. She loves Boxcar Betty. How about Chris and Tam? Favorite restaurants?
Fat Hen.
Fat Hen, another good one.
Wild Olive, Jones Island.
Wild Olive. Very good choices. Been to all of them. I recommend everyone trying them out. All right, favorite place for a caffeine fix?
I mean, I just come here for the cold brew. So
They have
that's for me.
like a keg of cold brew here, 24 hours a day. It is a plus. Laptop or desktop?
Desktop.
Desktop. Bill Murray or Stephen Colbert?
Stephen Colbert.
Favorite brewery?
I like Frothy Beard a lot. They just
Alright.
opened and they're kind of like in my drive to work, so I see them, their big mural every morning.
Are they the ones that share a space with another tech company?
They share with like a pizza
Like a
company.
pizza place.
Yeah.
There's one like that has like their tech company. A tech company's literally in a brewery down here. So, how about kayaking or paddleboarding?
Paddleboarding.
Paddleboarding, and then favorite beach.
Beach walker.
Beach walker, and then lastly, Charleston in one word.
Outside.
Outside.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
spend my time outside.
I can't thank you enough for stopping what you were doing today and kind of jumping on this with us. You were fantastic. It's been great meeting you. And I want to let everybody know that BoomTown is hiring, so please be sure to check out either BoomTown's website or Charleston Open Source's website to find out more details there. And next week, make sure tune in because we will be talking with someone from Booz Allen. So thank you again. Have a great day. Thanks. Thank you again.
Absolutely.